Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the pre-market session and trade plan setup for Monday, August the 25th, 2014. Welcome to Quantum Leap. Quantum Leap is a private group of traders. We're not a commercial venture. We come together in a private Skype room. We had our 5th anniversary last week, and if you're interested in coming out and checking our chat room out, you can send me a Skype request at Doug_McKay. I'll be the one from Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Of course, we are building the new website, and we'll be porting everything over to the stealthtrader.com. And if you want more information on that, you can give me an email to d.mckay@stealthtrader.com. Every day we come into the this live session to go through my analysis and look at the macro to the micro, and then I set up my hypotheses for the day and my trade levels and targets for the day. Before I can do anything, I do have to do the disclaimer. This information is for the purpose of educating members who want to expand the knowledge of the business of trading. It's not for trading or investment advice. You and only you are responsible for the trades or investment decisions you make. Trading futures or any instrument involves the risk of loss. Please consider carefully whether futures or options are appropriate to your financial situation. Only risk capital should be used when trading futures or options. Investors could lose more than initial investment. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and any trades you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please trade your own plan and do your own due diligence. Okay, so let's take a look at the news this morning. There's not a lot of news, although there's a lot of headline risk news. 9:45 Eastern, we have flash services PMI, and then of course the big one will be at 10 a.m. new home sales. Now, usually I'll start with the trend. Of course, the big news, this morning is, we had that delay in the open because of the problems they were having at CME, and then we opened the week. We opened the week at 1990 at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 Central, and then of course overnight we went in and put in some all-time new highs. So we've got a high overnight right now of 1997.50. That is an all-time high. Just as I always talk about this, we put the new all-time high in the Globex. It is not going to hold. The RTH traders, the regular trading hours participants, do not like it when they put in a all-time high in the Globex. So I do expect that 1997.50 to be retested, and of course, now that we're in the 90s and we're holding, overnight VPOC is sitting around 1994. Let me just bring it up. Yeah, it's sitting at 1994.75. So we're holding value in the 90s, and we are expecting a move, if not today. And it's funny, it's, all last week my target, when we got back inside that microcomposite distribution zone on the Russell, my target was at 1168.30. That was my weekly target for all last week on the Russell, and we couldn't get above the week high. Where was the week high? Week high was 1163.10, and what do? They open on Sunday and they go and hit that 1168.30. But we'll talk about that when we get into the Russell. Let's start with just the macro to the micro trends. Just always want to start with the basics. I usually do the key numbers. Howard is still on vacation. We're going to kick his butt to get him back so that we can get the QL2Ps going and the trade sheets posted again. But on the macro to the micro, monthly trend very much intact, very much strong, good slope, good separation, all-time new high. The trend's very much intact. On the weekly, same thing, came down, had some weakness, couldn't break below the 20 SMA, got back above the 9 EMA, got a bit of a technical gap right here on the weekly right now. There is some repair that we have to do, and of course we've had all these days of this upward parabolic move. We need to get a retracement and a rotation down to pick up some more buyers with conviction. We did this whole move on very light volume, so I am expecting a move back down this week at some point in time. You know, and I'll show you where I think we're going to rotate back down to. But overall, the trend on the weekly is still strong, good slope, good separation, and trend is very much intact. On the daily, you can see this parabolic move that we've made. We do have a naked cross on the daily down here at 1946.50. I do expect that we will come back down here and close this naked cross. These are not left open. But right now, a couple things we've got going on is we just went in and made an all-time high. We're only 2.5 points away from 2,000, but we've got a technical gap going on. And personally, I made a comment in the room last Friday that I think that in order for them to cause maximum pain to both the bears and the bulls, I think they did a nice stop run, you know, in the Globex, but I think they're going to, you know, shake out the weak hands on both sides. They're going to rip the rug out from underneath us, just, you know, touching the 2,000 or testing the 2,000, rotate it back down, and then as soon as they suck all the bears in, they're going to rip back up into the 2000s. So that's my hypothesis, and not what I'm going to trade. I'm going to trade what I see, but I just have the, I've seen this before, and I think we're going to see it again. Our gap close right now will bring us back down to that 1974-75 area, but I'm really looking at that 1981-75 for the gap close, and I'll show you why in just a couple of minutes. Going over to the geometric chart, still nowhere to put in an opposing fork right now. I mean, I've tried everything, you know, and I've given up. And they just won't give us a downward sloping fork right now. So taking a look at this, of course, you know, we're inside the lower channel of the longer term upward sloping fork, and we're inside the upper channel of the you know, shorter term upward sloping fork. You know, a move back down to test the lower line of the longer term fork will bring us into that 1967.50 area. It's really 1967.25. That's that prior CHVN. And of course, to if we continue up and test the upper line of the midterm upward sloping fork, that puts us up into that 2013. I'm really looking at the rule of 10 to play out. You know, if we pop into the 2000s, every time you hit a new centennial number, we have a good probability of rotating up and you know, playing out the rule of 10. So I'm looking at that target at 2010 up there. Just going into check out the intraday trends coming into the RTH session, going down to the 4-hour. You can see that the 4-hour is very much intact. We had this very long, strong upward sloping trend on the 4-hour. Came down and tested it, you know, on Friday, and then of course they moved back up over the Globex, and the trend is still much intact. We do have a little bit of a technical gap. Close of the technical gap will bring us down into the 1991 area. That's a key area that I'm going to show you on the composite in just a few minutes. Going down to the 30-minute, we've got, you know, we had some weakness coming in. It was looking like they're going to pop back up, and they're continuing this this trend up in the overnight. Going to the 5-minute, very much the same. We just closed. Here's a good example of a naked cross. You know, we came up, we created this technical gap. They rolled it over. They left a naked cross right here, and we just went up and closed this on the 5-minute. Just a very good example of why I watch these naked crosses. But overall, we've got a trend going and starting on the 5-minute again, and we're hitting 1996 in a quarter. They may not even wait for the RTH session. We still got 20 or 35 minutes to go. They could go and hit this 2000 easily before we even get to the RTH open. So let's take a look at the big picture, bringing up the composite. So of course, the big news is that we're above the longer-term microcomposite value area high at 1978.75. This microcomposite runs all the way from the gap up on May 26th and running right through, and I should add the other days in there, and you can see that we're above value right now. We're back into price discovery and looking for a move into the 2000s. We're above the RTH all-time high up at 1992 right now, and as long as we stay outside of the RTH range, we're going to gap up and probably go and hit that 2000. If we come back in and get inside of the former microcomposite at 1992, that's going to create a CLVN right here. It doesn't show it right now because it's going to be a gap, but it will be a CLVN. If we get back inside there, then I'm looking for a rotation back down to this 1989, where they accepted value in the last 2 days of last week with this move and a break outside of the value area of the longer term. Any week this comes in, there's going to be, well, obviously the gap closed from Friday. There's an LVN here at 1986.25, below 86.25. Then I'm looking for a rotation back down to 81 and testing the other side, the low side of that balance down at 1980, and a test of this value area high from the microcomposite. I think we're going to see a bigger rotation at some point in time. I think we're going to come down to this double distribution point. The current, this is something that I talked about several days of last week. I said, look, that move down, the shift of the VPOC down to 67 and a quarter, the microcomposite VPOC had happened, and we've got the move back up. Because we found an accepted value down there again. Let's take a look at the overnight and start putting our numbers over. So right now we close Friday at 1988. We're going to be opening outside of value, outside of range. Our overnight high is up here at 97.50. Our overnight low is all the way down at 1988.75, basically right near the close of Friday, and the value area high from Friday. And then our current VPOC overnight, and I don't think we're going to get a shift in the VPOC at 1994.75. And there's really not much to guide us here except for this 96.25. So 96.25 is going to be an area that I would be trading off of. It's going to be an LVN, and it's above the value area high. It is the value area high of the overnight. It's not a lot to guide us. So if we can hold above this, 1996.25, I'm looking for a quick pop to take out the 1997.50 in the RTH session and equalize the all-time highs from the RTH and the Globex and put in a new high there, possibly even pop up to 2000. Remember, anytime you open up outside of value or above value and above range, you've got to look for initiative buyers stepping in and just ripping us to all-time highs. I know that the cash index nearly hit 2,000. I'm expecting that this week we will see the 2,000s. Of course, if we get below and hold below that 96 and a quarter, then you can take the short into the overnight balance as they come back down here to find buyers with convictions to make that move up. This would be the first spot that I would look for, responsive buyers stepping in here and then holding us outside of range and outside of value and taking out that overnight high. So really going to be a testy open this morning. So just be careful. Let them battle the market on open, the MOO orders, and wait for them to settle on where they're going to find value and where they're going to find buyers or sellers to make a decision. Don't make a snap decision. You could pretty well flip a coin right now on what's going to happen here. Of course, if they get down and they get below that 1992, that's the other level that I think would be a decent area. Either responsive buyers are going to step in here, or they're going to break it and come down and test the range high at 91 and a quarter. And I think if they come down and test this 91 and a quarter, they're actually going to push it down even further, and they're going to come down and test this value area high at 89. So 89 is going to be my first target, and the takeout of the overnight low. Especially, and this is going to be something that I'll be watching for, if we leave this overnight high alone and we don't take it out on the open and we get below 92, you've got, I think, a better probability of coming down and taking out the overnight low than you do taking out that overnight high. Of course, if they take out the overnight high and then find responsive buyers or sellers stepping in, it's less likely we're going to make it all the way down here. I think we'll see the bounce at the 91, 92 area. Inside of value, inside of range, pretty standard stuff. You've got the naked close at 1988 as your first target, inside of range and inside of value. And then, of course, once you're inside of that value, I'd be looking for a move down towards the VPOC from Friday at 1986 and a test of the 1985.50 value area low from Friday. And that would be my next trade level, is down here between the 84.75. I'm going to take this down so I can take a look at this better. You've got this 85.50, and you've got the 85.50. So the 2-day value area high is lining up with the value area low. So that will be an area that I would look at to trade off of. Because if we break below that 85.50 area, then I would look for that move down to back down to the 81.75, and this is really where I'm looking to have a retrace down to as a first main target below. It's your Friday low at 81.50, and then you've got the naked VPOC left over from last week at 80, and the other side of balance is down here. This is also where they tried to hold value after making the last all-time swing high at 1985.75 in the RTH. So if they can't hold up and around the 89 level and they get below value, then I'm expecting that rotation down to a stronger area where they might find more buyers with conviction. So I'm going to put this as a target and a trade area, and it's really going to be a split between 81.50, or I call it 81.75, and 1980. Why does this not want to draw for me? So this becomes a slush zone all the way down to 1980, and again, it's kind of the same thing that I always talk about. If you're going to get long off of here, you got to wait to get above the 1980 1985, I'm sorry, 1981.75. But if you're going to get short, you got to wait till we get below 1980. And then the targets below there are pretty clear. You've got the value area high of the microcomposite at 1978. This is going to be a key level for us now in this week, this whole week. If we can hold above this 1978-75, then I think we go in and we test some of those levels in the 2000s. First one being 2002.50, second one being 2005, but the big target for me right now in the 2000s is that 2010. But if we do get the rug ripped out and we get below this 1978, okay, the first level, and I don't think we'll see much support until we get there, is going to be down at the CLVN at 76.75. And then anything below the 76.75, you got to be targeting this double distribution zone right here, with the first target being 71.25. And of course, the big number, which is back inside the microcomposite and the microcomposite VPOC down here at 1967.25. You got a naked VPOC, you've got naked close, and you've got the microcomposite VPOC all down there, and that is my extended target for the week down here at 67.75. If we get and we go in and we make new highs, of course the first target above us is going to be that 2000, and then as I just mentioned, you've got 2002.50, and then the big target for me, which is 2010 for the completion of the rule of 10. So that's what I'm looking at on the ES. I just want to bring up the Renko here and see what that looks like in comparison. So we've got a possible walk the line set up here on the Renko. A test of the upper Keltner line is going to give us a test of the all-time high and the takeout of the all-time high at 1997.75. A move back down to test the Keltner center line is going to take us down to 1992, which is my level down here, which will be that CLVN. See how that all lines up? And then a break below that takes us down to the naked VPOC and the inside of the value, and the test of that value area low down around that 1986.25, 1985.50 area. So you can see how nicely that lines up. Okay, taking a look at the Russell. This Russell is still very much a great looking chart right now with clear, defined areas. Of course, the big one is that the 1168.30 that we were looking for. We're currently trading 65.50 area. That was the target just below it. We didn't quite get there all week. We got to our weekly high last week at 1163.10. Now they're above it. If we hold, I'm looking at the 66.50, but we're not holding it right now. This 66.50 is a key CLVN right now. That's going to be your trade area to the upside right now. If we break above that, then I think you got a nice move up into the 1168.30, 1169.70, but the naked close is what I'm looking at right now, up there at 1170.80, especially if we see exuberance and new all-time highs in the ES. I think we'll see them move up. The TF has been lagging all of last week, so maybe it'll catch up. Extended targets to the upside today is going to be, not extended, targets to the upside are going to be that 68.30 and 69.70 and the 70.80. But I'm looking at a move to the other side of balance, the upside of the balance, with any major push-up to 1176.30. Above that, pretty straightforward, same numbers, and that's why I love these charts when they get so well defined, because you don't even have to think about the numbers. They're all right there for you. 78.25, 1180.10. We got a naked close at you've got 1170, 1183.30, naked VPOC at 87.90, and of course, the big number above us right now is up here at 1190, and anything above that, you got the 95.90 naked VPOC or microcomposite at VPOC at 1203.80, and of course you've got the all-time high up at 1270. Below us, if we stay below this 1166.50, then I'd be looking for a move back down to test the range high down here at 1162, but more likely coming down and testing the 1161.30. And then inside of value and inside of range, we've got some really good targets. The big one being this whole 1159 area, 1158 to 1159. There's so much confluence going on there right now. On the big picture, you've got the naked close, you've got the CHVN, you've got the microcomposite value area high up here from this distribution zone from the 16th of August. You've got the naked close, you've got the naked VPOC. I mean, I can go on and on and on. So inside of value, inside a range, I'd be looking to get short into that 59 area, and that's going to be actually a pretty decent looking trade. And then once inside of the value area, we could get continuation in an 80% destination trade down into this 1155, 1156 area. Again, lots of confluence down there. There's lots of repair work that we've got to do below, and a lot of targets and undetermined fair value down here. Extended targets for today, and the key that we have to hold to get this continuation and move up to the higher levels is going to be between that 1150.30. That 1150.30 is the bigger picture microcomposite value area high. This is why we've been looking at that move to 1168.30, because we broke above and we're staying above the last 5 days above that microcomposite value area low. So we were looking for that move back into balance all last week, and we got it on the overnight session. So the low from Friday and the 1150.30 is key levels we've got to hold. If we don't hold that, then we're back outside of value of the upper distribution area, and we're likely going to get a rotation down into the balance around this new microcomposite and the microcomposite VPOC down here at 1139.20. But just first destinations below that 1151, 1153 area is going to be 47.60, and then the CLVN at 45.60. I'm looking for some support to step in at that 1145.60. Probably rotate us back up into the 1154. That 1154.20 is last week's VPOC, and also a former VPOC where they tried to hold value on that last swing high at 1161 area. So looking for some support down here at 1145 if we get down there. But of course, first we've got to go down and test that 50. If we hold that 50, then we'll probably rotate back up inside last week's balance in this 1154, 1156 area. Take a quick look at gold. Gold swing is, I'm hoping and praying that we hold the 1169. If not, I'm likely toast. But we are finding some balance where we found balance before in between this 1275 and this 1279. The 3-day microcomposite VPOC from last week is from the last 2 days of the week, and so far today is down here at 1279 area. We're currently trading in around the CHVN. If we get above the 1280.50, then I'd be looking for a rotation back up to the 1286.90 and 1288 area. But if we get above this 1291.50, we get weakness coming in the indices, and we get above the CLVN at 91.50. You got a really nice long into this 1296.10. That's the composite VPOC going all the way back to October 24th, 2008. If we we can't get above this 1280.60. I'm expecting chop today. In this distribution area between 1275, maybe a little bit of weakness down to the 1287.70. This is the value area low from around the former naked VPOC. We came down to find buyers down at where they held value before making the move, and we're struggling, making a strong move off of that, so they could come down and test the other side of value down there and this 1269 area. So I'm sorry, did I say 1287? I meant 1267.70. So might see some weakness if we get them pop up into the 2000s, a test of this 1269. Below 1269, then I think we're toast, and we're likely to come down and chop around again in this lower distribution with the big target below down at that 1247. The 1262 and 1255.70 will be your first targets below 69. Anyway, that's what I'm looking at. That's going to complete our pre-market session. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.